they do the last round of the season, ready for some winter testing and racing full season next year.
That's what you can see from row 9 of the grid then. The red lights are about to go on because the 5-second board has been shown. There they go, red lights go out and away we go, and it's a good start from the man from the outside of the front row then, Christopher Keir. He gets away well. As the 10-second delay man gets away as well, so it's Christopher Keir that's going to have the lead, I think, into the first corner then.
I think Scott Edgar is second from 5th on the grid.
It looked like he'd made a pretty good start as well. There you can see James Hayden, the black and white car. There he is. He's got Charles Shelbourne, I think that is, ahead of him. He's going to try and go down the inside. A bit later on the brakes, maybe into the Wilson hairpin that time. It looks like James Hayden has made up a position as one car has gone off, and that is the 55 car, isn't it? Which is Justin Griffiths.
Yeah, not quite sure what happened there. Looked like Jack Dwayn made a poor start, poor reaction to the lights, if anything. But then Jack Kingsbury had nowhere to go, so they both made poor starts. They're 3rd and 4th behind Chris Keir and behind Scott Edgar. But round the outside of Edgar goes Dwayn, which I guess isn't an ideal place to be coming out the Agostini hairpin. It hasn't worked. He's off the road, out of shot. He's gone off then. He's run out wide. He's losing positions, and Jack Kingsbury passed both of them. I think Edgar and Dwayn both went wide, and Jack Kingsbury must be loving that. He's passed both of them. He's up to second, and now got a position between himself and Jack Dwayn. Not sure how long that's going to last for.
Not very long.
Dwayn tries around the outside again. Outside, perhaps not the ideal way of doing this. Yeah, the inside line, that might be better. And yeah, he goes past Scott Edgar. He doesn't make that too difficult in the end.
And everyone else is falling over themselves a bit further back. Darren Ransom, that is, in the number 30 car, relative newcomer to the K-Tec Racing Clio 182 Championship. He's got about 7 cars all behind him. Here's James Hayden heading along the Benton Straight. Great that we're able to go on board with these cars now in the K-Tec Racing Clio 182 Championship. Along the straight he goes up to the vehicle bridge. There you can see the 77 car of Andrew Harding turning his way through Brundtland Nelson. He's just ahead of Ross Borman in 66.99. Is Neil Heath as well, as they head through the bomb hole and on towards Coram Curve to complete lap number 1 of this race.
Kingsbury's caught the leader, hasn't he? Chris Keir, as they make their way down into Murray's, and Dwayn is with them. He's bounced over the curve though, run out wide, looked like he might have pushed the pressure pads there for track limits. The delayed starter, Scott Smith, hasn't got very far. He's parked up, but for the lead, it's nose to tail as Jack Kingsbury, now with a bigger gap to Jack Dwayn, can challenge for the lead up towards Ritchie's. He's right on the tail of 22, Chris Keir, whose best result before today has been a 5th. They turn their way through Ritchie's, a tighter line for Kingsbury, and he's going to challenge on the inside line down towards the hairpin. That's blocked, so he can't do that. So go to the outside. Then you've got Jack Dwayn late on the brakes. On this sideways, Chris Keir's lost it, I think, all by himself there, but he's caught it, and that's held up Jack Kingsbury, who's got championship rival alongside him, Jack Dwayn.
Yeah, so Dwayn's going to be on the outside line for Palmer, the left-hander then. It's Keir, despite that little mistake up at Wilson, that's still leading the way. It really affected the next two more than it affected him, and the two championship contenders are side by side there. They've got Scott Edgar tucked in behind them as well, waiting to pick up the pieces. You've got Kingsbury on the inside, Dwayn on the outside line, and they're still alongside one another. It's going to be Kingsbury, you would think, that prevails on the exit of Agostini. He does so. So it's Kingsbury number 3 and Dwayn number 11, second and third, as it was at the start of the lap. They're closing that gap again to Christopher Keir. So it's 4 cars for the lead of the race, and a gap back, I think, to Stephen Richardson in 5th.
That's right, and then novice driver Darren Ransom doing great in 6th.
As Kingsbury's up the inside of the race leader, and he takes the lead at Williams. So it's Christopher Keir that loses out, Jack Kingsbury that goes through into the lead of the race in the number 3 car. And the man that's won 5 races so far this season to Jack Dwayn's 4. Is he on course to make it 6? There's still a long way to go, 11 minutes of racing, and Jack Dwayn here can pick up a double tow. He goes to the inside of Chris Keir, but there's still a car between himself and his championship rival.
Keir was sideways there. He managed to get the car stopped, which I'm sure is pleasing for Jack Kingsbury. And now Dwayn's got the exit, and he slots through into second place. So our 2 championship contenders are in the top 2, although, saying that, trying to fight back. Keir on the inside of Dwayn. Dwayn doesn't really want to be fighting for too long because Kingsbury might be able to get away, but committed through Coram. Jack Dwayn hangs on to P2 there, then Keir 3rd. 4th is Edgar as they turn their way through Murray's at the end of 2 laps of what should be another 7-lap race.
I think Kingsbury sensed there that there was a brief opportunity for himself to put daylight between himself and Jack Dwayn, but Dwayn now has got ahead of Chris Keir, who's gone back down to third position. He'll be getting his head down now to stay on terms with Kingsbury. There you can see the positions updating on the screen as we go. It's Stephen Richardson, number 7 in 5th. Darren Ransom heads the next group in the number 30 car. In fact, he's caught Stephen Richardson now, and he's dropped Andrew Harding in 7th, who's in 7th place. But this is the battle for the lead. Jack Kingsbury goes quite deep into the corner, not so much for Jack Dwayn. That's reduced the gap, it seems to me, between first and second at Welton Hairpin.
So on to the third lap then of the race, down towards Palmer Corner. Up on 3 wheels as they turn their way through the corner there, and then they head off down the straight past Tyrrell's restaurant and into Agostini. Jack Dwayn with the quickest driver in qualifying, challenging for the lead. A big bold move up the inside there. Can he get the car stopped? He can. Can he get the car through the corner successfully? He can, but how much speed has he got on the exit of the corner? I think it's okay. That was a strong move to take the lead of the motor race for Jack Dwayn. So he's the leader from number 3, Jack Kingsbury.
Well, I think, to be fair, Kingsbury gave him a bit of racing room there. It's the kind of thing that in a...
Oh, he's been hit.
He has been hit now, but from behind. That's by Chris Keir, who's made contact with the back of Jack Kingsbury's car. That's not really delayed Kingsbury. It has broken, though, Christopher Keir's car, possibly the radiator.
Absolutely.
And that is causing him to, well, drop down the field, surely, eventually. He's not going to get much further in this race. We're on board now with number 83, James Hayden, who's had a good race so far. He started on row 9. He's up to 12th place.
Into the fluid section. The car in front had a bit of a moment, didn't they? Is that Gareth Tansey?
Yeah, I think it is, in the 26 car. And it looks like James Hayden's going to try and attack him down the Bentley Straight.
Oh dear.
And that's the 46 car of Jamie Flynn, isn't it?
Oh dear, and Chris Keir is carrying on, so there's going to be fluid all over the track. Now he pulls off, but the Brundle and Nelson sequence isn't really a place you want fluid to be down, so let's see how James Hayden deals with this. A quick check in the mirror before he turns into Brundle, and then into Nelson, and actually through there, not too bad.
No problem whatsoever for James Hayden.
But, so we've seen how hard of a hit it must have been to the back of Jack Kingsbury's car for Christopher Keir.
It's slightly deranged the bumper, I think, hasn't it, on Kingsbury's car? But no, I don't think it's really caused any damage as far as I can see. It's obviously caused a lot more damage to Keir, as you can see there. So
the back of Clio's are strong by the looks of things.
Certainly Kingsbury's is. Anyway, he's gone on to start another lap. He's just behind Jack Dwayn now. And what we're saying before that occurred was that Kingsbury, I think, did leave a little bit of room for Jack Dwayn, didn't he, as he made that move. Whereas sometimes in these championship flashpoint situations, you might see a bit of harder defence from that. So that was good driving, actually, from both of them to keep it nice and clean.
Is the exhaust on Kingsbury's car hanging off the back?
It might be
a bit loose, so let's hope that that doesn't cause a problem for him, because that would be a real disaster, wouldn't it? We've still half this race to go, on to lap 4 of what should be 7. We're trying to get a shot for you of that damage to see how it's going. Well, it hasn't affected the pace of the car yet, and of course they're now going to get to the fluid for the first time. They won't really know it's there. Yeah, there you can see it's taken a bit of a hit, but it seems the rear of the cars are a bit stronger than the front of them as they turn their way then up towards the potentially slippery bit of the track is now for the leaders as they go down towards Oggie's first for Dwayn and Kingsbury, and Jack Dwayn's running very, very wide. He's managed to hold on to the lead, I think, but it's closer than it was. There, the slippery surface tracks. The Marshall showing the drives. It's going to be tricky here, and they're both going very wide, and they're both saved. I thought they were both going off there. Scott Edgar does the sensible thing, kicks to the inside of the fluid.
Well, he saw what was going on ahead of him and thought, well, I'm not going to use that line. Darren Ransom's not necessarily had the same thought occur to him. But slippery surface flag is out, so the drivers do have fair warning of this.
Of course, Edgar did see it all on the previous lap, didn't he? Anyway, Jack Kingsbury for the lead round the outside. No, it didn't quite work.
Not quite there, was it? It was a bit deceptive on the head-on shot there, as it sometimes is. So it is still number 11, Jack Dwayn leading. There's 6 minutes of this race left to go. And Jack Kingsbury in second place in number 3, the driver from Hoddesdon. Jack Dwayn is from Lincoln. They're both getting away a little bit now from Scott Edgar. It was about 3 seconds at the start of the lap, and well, so it's still about 3 seconds now as we just saw a glimpse of Scott Edgar's car in the background, a bit of freewheeling going on. They clip the clip. Well, Scott Edgar's made a mistake there. I'm not quite sure how he managed that. He just about keeps it out of the barrier. He's going to power through because he's got a decent advantage over Stephen Richardson, so he shouldn't lose a pace as a result of all of that. Meanwhile, the 2 leaders are about to get alongside one another again, I think, as they go down to Richardson. No, not quite. It's still Dwayn hanging on from Kingsbury.
Absolutely right. 5 seconds ahead of Edgar. He lost a couple of seconds in all of that. moment at Murray's. I think he would have probably avoided the track limit sensors, so I guess that's one bonus for him. So the two leaders turn their way out of the Wilton hairpin. This is lap 5. We know there's a couple of tricky corners to come up, and well, they know where it is now because they very much caught it on the previous lap. But we shall see how it goes. Up over the curves on the inside of the Palmer corner now. We've had 10 minutes of this race. That means there's 5 minutes to go. And it's 11 from 3. That's Dwayn from Kingsbury. These are the two championship contenders. It's Kingsbury who's got 2 points in favour coming into this race. At the moment, there'll be a swing of 4 points because Dwayn's leading and got fastest lap, so that means there'll still be 2 points in it tomorrow, but in the opposite order. But there's still, what, 2.5 laps to go with this tricky part of the racetrack coming up next year.
Effectively, it will make tomorrow winner takes all, pretty much, won't it? Oh, and that's going to be wing mirror swapping, isn't it? There's going to be a bit more than that, I'm afraid. That's Darren Ransom and I think the Neil Heath number 99 car. That's the dispute for 6th position. Got a little bit feisty there as Kingsbury. Well, he knew the fluid was there, but he's managed to get caught out on it again, and he's lost quite a bit of time to Jack Dwayn now as a result of that. So that's maybe not the smartest, but I guess he's not really lost any positions as this battle for 6th now heads on to the Bentley Straight. That's number 30, Darren Ransom, the white car with the checkerboard roof, and number 99, Neil Heath in the silver car, the ex-Mark Barmer car.
Yeah, indeed. So they're turning their way now up towards the S's, Brundle and Nelson. So this is the battle for 6th place. Darren Ransom, a new driver to race, and he hasn't done many meetings, has he? He's been since, what, the 3rd meeting of the year. So he's done, this is his 4th event, I think, something like that.
He's had a 5th and a 6th as we go on board with James Hayden again.
That's Ben Swift, I think, who got up to the inside.
So that'll be for 11th place. Ben Swift making up a place there, the novice driver. There he is, the number 47 car. You can see he's got ahead of James Hayden now in number 83.
I think this is Ben Swift's first race, or certainly in this category.
Board with Hayden again as he goes around this long right-hander at Coram. And then you've got the very difficult braking and down-changing, a quick down-change there into the tight left-hander. It's a difficult part of the circuit, especially if you're alongside another car. But he wasn't on that occasion, and he's just trying to get back on terms with Ben Swift. He seems to be pulling away a little bit for 11th place.
So the grid for tomorrow looks like it'll be Dwayn and Kingsbury on the front row, which is set by the best laps, isn't it, in this category?
Yeah.
And I presume with the slightly tricky track, we won't get any better laps. So absolutely all to play for in tomorrow's K-Tec Racing Clio 182 Championship race. However, they've still got 2 more laps to get through, haven't they, the leaders? So we shall see how that progresses with Jack Dwayn ahead of Jack Kingsbury now by a much larger margin, a couple of seconds. But there's Ransom. He's a bit further ahead of Neil Heath, so hopefully they won't be rubbing against one another quite so much on this particular lap. So Neil Heath in the Barmer car. Ooh, and there's a bit of smoke there coming off the car, not sure.
I didn't really notice anything, but
just a bit of dust on the track.
So Jack Dwayn, here he is. There's about a minute and a half left to go on the official clock for this one. He is going to head down Bentley Straight now, so I think it's going to be 1 more lap to go at the end of this one, come what may. And he leads now by about 2 seconds or so over Jack Kingsbury. So I think Kingsbury at this point probably is just thinking, well, let's make sure I pick up the points for 2nd. Now that's Gareth Tansey, number 26. He was in 9th place, but you can see several cars have gone past him, including James Hayden. So he's dropped back down to 12th position now with a spin.
It's a shame because he hasn't finished in the top 10 this year. Been consistent, so he was 13th in the championship, but that top 10 that's been eluding him looks like he won't get that again. Battle continued for what is now 10th place, isn't it? Ben Swift versus James Hayden. Swift to the left-hand side of the track. Hayden on the outside, brakes a little bit later, but don't really want to go around the outside. Brundle gets a bit of oversteer, then turns right over the curbs at Nelson, and then accelerate out of the corner. Great to have these Alpha live onboard cameras on this 750 Motor Club race weekend at Snetterton.
Leaders have gone on to their final lap now. So that's Jack Dwayn and Jack Kingsbury, separated now by 2.35 seconds.
And Kingsbury's just done his best lap of the race. So there is time in the track yet, it would seem.
Okay, but it's still not gone faster than Jack Dwayn. So that's not going to affect pole position for tomorrow.
However, his fear is Stephen Richardson within 100th of his best now for Kingsbury, so he could lose the front row if he's not careful. There's a car that's pulling off. That's Ross Borman that's pulling off.
He's showing 8th place.
Yeah, that's right. So he's not going to get to the end. So that means the Swift Hayden battle is now for ninth place as they turn their way through Ritchie. It's a great choice of onboard camera to have here with James Hayden. He started 18th and is now inside the top 10. He's right with Ben Swift. He's looking to the inside. He breaks later. And is Ben Swift going to give him room here? Just about. And James Hayden muscles his way through up into ninth place, but he runs a bit wide. So Ben Swift is alongside both actually drivers with novice crosses on, because I guess because James Hayden was out of the sport for so long, had to go through that process again. And they turn their way through Palmer and back through then into ninth place is Ben Swift. In the end, that attempt of a pass didn't work out. So here's Swift and Hayden heading down towards the Agostini hairpin. They've had a great battle in over the last few laps.
Well, they certainly have. It's been great to see, and great to have the onboard insight as well from James Hayden's car. Now still circulating, heading up towards Hamilton for the fun home. There's the 7 car of Stephen Richardson in 4th place. And
like he might have had a moment there.
Yeah, he seems to have dropped back a bit into the clutches of Andrew Harding, number 77 in 5th, back on board with Hayden. As we watch them make their way on towards the Bentley straight again, just going through the Williams right down. The slippery surface plate still being shown, so I suspect there'll be some oil to be dressed or fluid to be dressed or something after that race, because it is still catching drivers out all the way through this race. Meanwhile, Jack Dwayn, I can see heading through Coram for the final time. Here he is on screen now at Murray's, the left-hander. He's built up a 2.35 second lead over Jack Kingsbury, so it is going to be a 5th victory of the season. He goes level on wins now with Jack Kingsbury, and he goes just ahead on points as well. So it's Jack Dwayn that wins the penultimate round of the K-Tec Racing Clio 182 Championship. The gap in the end, 1.83 seconds, and Jack Kingsbury, importantly, does the fastest lap of the race on the final lap of 2:18.44, and that will put him on pole position for tomorrow, unless Stephen Richardson, who goes across the line, can go any faster, which he can't because he's not yet come through, because he did drop back.
That also means instead of a 2-point margin, they're going to be equal on points heading into tomorrow's race.
Yes, because that 1 point swaps around, isn't it, from Dwayn to Kingsbury. So it could not be a better setup for tomorrow. You can have Kingsbury and Dwayn on the front row, level on points, and basically it's winner takes all in the K-Tec Racing Clio 182 Championship. You could not ask for a better conclusion to the season than that. Scott Edgar, in the end, took 3rd place, number 21. Andrew Harding 4th. Darren Ransom 5th. And in 6th position, there's some very excited and enthusiastic supporters there on our live stream. Darren Ransom it was that took 5th in number 30. Neil Heath rounded out the top 6 in number 99. But there, Jack Dwayn, you can see, heading into Parc Fermé, flanked by Jack Kingsbury and Scott Edgar at the end of that race.
We saw what we thought was a moment for Stephen Richardson, and so he was 4th and dropped to 7th on that last lap. So obviously something went a bit awry for him.
He was 15 seconds slower than his best time. So yeah, and perhaps another mistake further around the lap that we didn't pick up.
Unless it was a car issue that
it could have been. It could have been. I guess last car just coming across the line. I think that's the last car anyway. No, not quite. There's another one to come. Jamie Flynn and Charles Sherborne, I can just see going past the finish line now at the end of the race. So we lost actually 4 cars during the course of that. Jason Pound, Chris Keir, Chris Lawrence and Ross Borman. So just 13 drivers made it to the finish in the end. Jack Dwayn taking the victory by 1.83 seconds in car number 11 from Jack Kingsbury. Number 3, Scott Edgar, number 21 in 3rd place. And 77, Andrew Harding in 4th position. And the deciding round is indeed tomorrow after... No, it's tomorrow morning, isn't it? About 11:10 in the morning, the championship decider.
So that'll probably be our first champion of the day crowned.
It could well be, couldn't it? In the K-Tec Racing Clio 182 Championship. So much excitement tomorrow, as there was today. Very good race for the K-Tec Racing Clio 182s. There's still a couple of races to go here this afternoon at Snetterton as well. We've got the BMW Car Club Racing Championship coming up next, and then it's the Bike Sports Championship, the ILM Racing Bike Sports Championship, that will round out the day. Down in the pit lane, I can see Jack Dwayn is getting on the MSV winner's cap. He's got a garland around his neck as well, so he's absolutely delighted with all of this. He's going to speak now to Matt Suckling.
Thanks very much, Ian. Yep, down here with our race winner, Jack Dwayn, from that Clio 182 race. Jack, that was fantastic between you and Jack. It's a championship on the line. It's all going to go down to tomorrow, but how was that one for you?
Really good, hard work, as you can tell. Yeah, I messed my start up massively, lost 3 or 4 places, and just thought to myself, if you really want this championship, you've got to get back to the front. Did my move down into the hairpin. Probably braked a little later than I wanted to, but it come off. And get my head down and get gone. That's all I wanted to do. That's all the plan was today. It was just to win this race and look at tomorrow.
Yeah, you managed to push on. You got a little bit of a gap towards the end there, so fairly comfortable at the checker flag.
Yeah, I wasn't coming around Coram as fast as I was doing this morning, which was nice, not having to do that. A bit more controlled, and then, yeah, just managed the gap. But I'm really pleased with that. It's exactly what we needed today.
And of course, if you thought it was close before the weekend, we're now down to equal points apparently, so you're level into the final race.
Times are, because there was an extra point for fastest lap, isn't they? But I knew it'd either be dead equal or we'd have 1 point advantage, so it'll be good tomorrow. I'm looking forward to it.
And as the boys said in the box, it's pretty much winner takes all from tomorrow's race.
It is, yeah. I don't think it matters where me and Jack finish. It's whoever's in front, so it could come 9th and 10th and one of us will win, so.
Good stuff. Good luck for tomorrow.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
There we go. Jack Dwayn, your winner of that race. Let's grab a quick word if we can with Jack Kingsbury as well, who's just in the garage. Let's try and grab Jack. Can we have a quick word? Sorry about that. Just having a quick chat with the guys down here in the scrutineer area. Jack, second place in that race. Did a bit of contact from the rear end there. What happened in that one?
I honestly haven't a clue. I was so focused on what I was racing with Jack that I was braking into the corner behind him and then just got completely wiped out. Which lost me some time, and then he had put gearbox or fluids all over the track, and it messed us both up, and I lost out heavy towards it because he managed to pull that gap after that and I couldn't close it. It was very quick.
Your car held up fairly well. You're in the action for tomorrow, of course. Race 2, it's all to play for in the championship. It's going to go down to the wire, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it's brilliant. As much as I'd like to, like he would have both liked to have won it by now. It's going to be a brilliant action tomorrow. It's either way it can work, so I'm looking forward to it. We've got to straighten the car out.
Yeah, get that sorted and good luck for tomorrow, Jack.
Thank you.
There we go, our top 2 in that race and the top 2 in the championship, Jack Kingsbury and Jack Dwayn. We look forward to more action from the Clios tomorrow. For now, though, the penultimate race of the day is the BMW Car Club Racing Championship. So back to Ian and Josh.